The podcast that you're about to listen to does not care about your emotions, your hypersensitivity, or your political correctness. If you wish to continue, then
shut up and sit down.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the A5 podcast. I'm Frank, a.k.a. PJ, here with Ray.
Yo, yo, yo.
John.
woo-ha.
Jonah.
Yeah.
And Fib.
Yes.
Oh, what the?
Why you
Fuck,
always
why do you
sound
do
like the
that?
nigga from Silence of the Lambs every
Like-
time you introduce yourself? These
Clarice.
niggas
Trying to come out hype.
on the skin.
Trying to come out hype, ready to go. Like, you always on that Batman shit.
That's my hype voice.
Oh,
That's your hype voice?
Damn. Serial killer is your most hype nigga? That's the level you got. Nigga. Mass murderer.
deranged, morbid emo. That's the theme.
Like, damn,
The
nigga.
fuck?
Yeah, it depends how I'm feeling.
All right, Lurch.
So we got some interesting. Well, that probably will get interesting to talk about on this episode. And I'm gonna get straight to it. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. I really just want a yes or no.
Man.
I'll answer it first, and then we'll let the floodgates
Just
open
yes or no, just
on
yes
where
or
it
no?
goes. It is yes or no. What?
Oh.
What?
Nigga.
Sorry, I was doing it for the gram.
Hold on.
We're-
I'm just realizing I ain't mean to fuck you. I apologize. What the fuck are you wearing in my house, my nigga? What you got? Make Christmas
great again.
Yo, why do you have an ugly ass Ewok on your shirt, bro? What is that?
This is I had to do an ugly sweater and for a party.
Yeah, it definitely
So,
is
so,
ugly.
so you chose Trump for your ugly sweater? That's ironic.
No, it's apropos.
But it does a little bit of both because it pisses certain people off, and at the same time, it's part of an ugly sweater party.
I thought that you were like trying to take a dick pic for a second, the way you were like getting up and fucking.
This nigga was like
I didn't know what was happening.
trying to get in the motherfucking line.
Do it for the gram.
Y'all need to check out.
Bro, you win the ugly fucking sweater contest.
If you listening, check out YouTube to see what Fabian did. Then you'll get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to what I was
I
saying.
apologize for that.
It's fine. It was weird. It was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer first. Yes or no is all I want, and then
Mm.
Then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the situation. All right.
Let's go.
Is there a victim mentality amongst the black community? My answer is gonna be yes. Ray?
Not all.
That
You knew it was gonna
Jonah, I did. I'm not upset. I'm not.
know.
Jonah.
Kind of right though. Yeah. Yes.
Fabian.
Kind of worried about that one. It's a little bit of both, but yes.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
That's kind of where I was a little bit of both, but I think yes.
Gentlemen, it is yes or no.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
I literally
No, because
said
that's
this-
generalizing.
No, you know what? The
Right,
only
exactly.
person that I
And
could
it's not-
possibly accept, a gray area answer is Ray. Ray lives in the gray.
I could live in the gray, nigga. I'm
No.
black.
You can be gray. Ray lives in the gray.
Facts.
Right there. There's a difference.
All right.
And I know your answer is going to be.
You don't know my answer.
All right, so your answer is going to be.
What you think it is? No.
All right.
Wait, you ain't know that.
So for clarification, that was 3 yeses, 1 kinda, and 1 no. All right, John, just
I'm dying.
so you can get it out.
Huh?
So you can, besides the cough, why do you feel that there's not?
Why do I feel? Well, let me tell you something, buddy. I don't think a mentality is going around thinking that like somebody, like, I don't want to, it's going to be a terrible comparison, but like a woman always thinking that she's going to go out and be like raped or like abused by a dude. Like, that's not how black people walk around and act, like, even though that's might be how you perceive. But what you do see is already preparedness in your mind that it could happen, and that it's probably more like, it's not a victim mentality, because a lot of the times white people are in a position it seems like a victim mentality because white people are in a position to be the benefit of the doubt all the time. So if a white person come up to you and say, yeah, that black person stole, me as a black person, I'm more inclined to believe them because a white person told me. Ain't that crazy? Like, I feel more safe around white people than I do black people. Now, that's crazy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
I don't think that's crazy.
It's not, but it's not.
I'm the complete opposite.
But I don't know. I don't know any dangerous black people. I'm not related to anybody I'm afraid to be. I don't have friends that I know there are dangerous black people who exist, but the same way I know dangerous white people and Mexicans exist.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know any personally. But I feel safer around white people. I think that's you can call it a mentality, but that comes from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason to expect certain treatment and certain believability. I know I still get followed around Walmart. I still get followed around Target. I still get followed around here. Like, it still happens. Like, it doesn't. You know what I purposely do? I walk around stores with my wallet in my hand so people know that I am not stealing.
No, you don't, bro.
Absolutely.
Wow, man.
And
so, what do you think? What do you think
that's
makes?
not a victim.
What do you think made you
it's
feel
not a
that
victim
way,
mentality. But it's not a victim mentality because
It's not necessarily a victim
they're
mentality.
actively following me around the store. You get what I'm saying? I ain't walk in the store like that. But once I realize I see the eyes on me, I'm tall as fuck. You cannot miss me. I always got clothes on. You know, I don't look like I belong in this Monroe Walmart, but little did you know, I went to high school across the street, and I've probably been here longer than everybody else.
No. So Cabrera, Jonah was saying something that, like, that's not victim mentality, but what do you think made you feel that way? Is it that something that has been perpetuated into your mind to think that, like, you don't want to be a victim? So,
well,
I think being a victim.
I don't want you, if you already following me around, I know that there's a chance that you could call anybody and say that there's a black guy walking around looking suspicious. Like, that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a thing that could happen to me. So I'm not walking around thinking it's going to happen, but I have to be prepared for it to happen. If I start seeing signs that they looking at me crazy, it's better to be preemptive to avoid all of that. It's not a victim mentality. It's survival.
So basically you're taking preventative measures to not fall into that category.
Once I start feeling the vibes, because I live in a predominantly white town, even though I grew up here.
Yeah.
I got a beard now. I don't look young and, you know what I mean, non-threatening.
You look Islamic.
I kind of do, and I'm big, you know what I mean? So I'm tall. So it's just, I get the looks all the time.
Well, to clarify why I feel that certain black people have a victim mentality, and why I said yes to Frank's question, is because I look at it, a lot of my views and the way I see things are from a financial, goal-driven, you know, I can accomplish anything kind of mindset, right? So there's a lot of articles, and, you know, I follow a bunch of, like, you know, pro-black people on, like, IG and stuff like that, right? And a lot of the stuff that they say sometimes is like, oh, well, you know, we don't have the same opportunity as everybody else. Or, you know, we've been set up to fail from the beginning, and, like, there's no coming back from that. Like, we have, you know, these fucked up communities and shit, and nobody gives us a hand and all that. And I'm just like, well, like.
So what?
My fault, but in my mind, I'm just like, but you got the same opportunities. Like, there's shit that you can do to help your community, both in a financial standpoint and not. So, like, for you to sit there and say that, yo, I don't have the same opportunity as everybody else, to me, that's ludicrous.
Okay, so in what aspects might they not have had those same opportunities? Like, let's try to understand what it is that they're trying to argue, like, or what they're arguing. Like, what aspects would they not have had the same opportunity? Okay, I would have been born in poverty, right? And somebody that's born in a rich area, do they have a different kind of education that they're going to be receiving? Do I have the same kind of opportunity in receiving education as that person?
But is that about color, though?
Absolutely. A lot. You can't say that. Look, there's stats out there that show you that color, your race, and your income are, like, distinctly attached. So if you're a person of color, we all people of color, I'm sure there's a white person in your field that does less of a job and gets paid double the money, not too far from you, and they probably get it happens, and you already at behind the eight ball because you're not a white person in America. Like the lighter you are, the better it is. Because I had it, I didn't have it as bad as some of my darker skinned cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still light skinned. I got light eyes, so it's like I could pass. Like I could come to some of my white friends' house. They just gonna call me nigga behind my back, which actually it's not a made up story that happened. So that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call me nigga to my face. But if I was darker, I probably couldn't even be around their kids at all. You know what I'm saying? And I know that I have like a privilege from being a light skinned black dude. Like I ain't dark.
Darkness.
I get to be around certain people. I get to come. I'm less threatening because I'm lighter skinned. Like that's crazy to me. So again, when it comes down to a victim mentality, it's these things are still occurring. Like yo, it's really crazy to feel like you, like a guy, I think I said this before, you feel like you're a second-class citizen in your own country, even though you're not. Yes, you do have the same opportunities. And a lot of it is probably propaganda bullshit, but when you see stuff like, yo, I went out for this job interview 5 times. Y'all made me interview 5 times for this same job, right? This one dude interviewed 1 time. He got the job. You told me I had to keep interviewing and didn't give me the job. Like, why you make me go through all of that? And you interview him once. You know what I'm saying? You made me interview 5 times, which is, again, a real thing that happened to me not that long ago, a couple of years ago. So it's like, yo, I understand, like, I might not be better than him. I might not be more qualified. But what are you running me through the ringer for? And you just gave him on the first shot. And it's like, yo, that's not a victim mentality. It's just like, you got to kind of expect that. And so there are certain things when you say, yeah, it's not the same. Even you being I can see that you're black, but you not Wesley Snipes black. You like passable, like yo, you could be, because people think I'm Dominican all the time. You pass the same way I pass, like we borderline. You know what I'm saying? We got it a little bit easier than our brother, like our brethren. Like it just is. And so the way they see things is not how we see it.
What I think the difference is, I'm sorry, PJ, but
go ahead.
when it comes to the victim mentality, I think there is a difference between being cautious because you are aware of the stereotypes and the negative shit that comes with being a black man in America, and the darker you are, obviously, you feel like the worse off you are. When we're talking about the victim mentality, is that regardless of the shade of the skin color, you just feel, probably even go as far as a minority, that you're at a disadvantage. The world is out to get you. There's no way you can make it no matter what. I'm always going to be kept down. There's no way I could bring myself up. That type of mentality, which is what I believe when they're talking about the victim mentality, is that what you're referring to. Yeah. Which is always a defeatist mentality.
Right, exactly.
Constant defeatist mentality.
Exactly.
There's one thing to actually think what John was saying, which is like being cautious. You know, there's the stereotypes. That shit happens. Maybe sometimes he might be a little bit more paranoid than usual, but it's just going off of experience. But when it comes to the victim mentality, it's more of, okay, I'm always at a loss, regardless of freaking what happens.
Right. I can't go up like that. I'm just. There's no winning for me.
I've seen it even extensively. I feel in the black community where it's like, you know what, I'm not even gonna try because of that mentality. To me, that's like. Oh, that's that's victim mentality. You know what? I'm not even gonna give the effort to do better. To be, they're not gonna let me get it no matter what I do, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like I see that a lot amongst the black community.
I want you to.
But and then I also see it a step further though, where parents are enforcing that mentality in their kids, where they're saying. The white man isn't going to let you do this. So
let's try to break down
real quick stats on from what you said, Frank, earlier to me. Like, is that only a black people thing?
I was just about to ask you that.
Real quick stats in the United States. This is from 2018. The poverty rate within whites is 9%. This is according to KFF.org. Black people, black is 22%, Hispanic 19%, Asian, Native American, Hawaiian, whatever, Pacific Islander 11%, this is actually Native American is
understood
24%, and then multiple races 15%.
Native American is 24%.
Yeah, it's
So-
actually higher than.
So let's
Yeah.
let's get to the core of this, right?
So then,
It's clearly not a genetic thing, right? It's not. It doesn't mean because you have African blood means that you are a victim, right? Or you have a victim.
No.
Right. So since we
No,
have that out
it's
the way,
it's not a it's
so
not a
then
genetic.
what is it if y'all all agree that American black people essentially have a victim mentality?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of there's no other American race or nothing that has like what black people are
Yes,
particularly,
yeah, absolutely.
right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
So why are black people that way?
I actually have a really sound theory on this, and it's going to be very quick. Now check this out. If you look at minorities and actually black folks today, and then go back when they were fighting through the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and stuff like that, if they had the victim mentality, they would not be successful in what they were trying to achieve. They had the hardships, and they fought through it.
Persevered.
Actually, what I believe now, and this is what I see now, is that victim mentality is perpetuated nowadays. And that's when they talk about institutionalized racism.
It's by design.
That is the institutionalized
It's
racism.
by design for black people to be this way.
Correct.
You understand that?
I agree with that.
So again, the fact that if you call black people lazy, victims, whatever, there's no other American people that have been here, right? Because the only people that have been here for the longest is white and black people. But no other race after black people, like the majority of black people came here, are like black people where they are looked at like that, the way they are. Poverty rate 22%. So again, what has been done or what makes black people specifically just like American black people, not Africans from Ghana, not Jamaicans, American black, it has to be something, right? There's something psychologically there. There's something there.
You know what?
There's something there that nobody else has.
You know what?
It's a different beef. I told y'all before. It's the Bloods and the Crips between whites and blacks in this country. It's different.
You know one thing that I can just say I've observed differently from a black person from Ghana, from Jamaica, versus an American black person is
The hustle.
the hustle and the sense of entitlement is different,
I agree.
right? So
They don't see the color as a disadvantage.
what
You know,
that's
they might be
one-
aware
that-
of it, but they
that's
don't. They
one thing,
ignore
but-
it. They
but
choose to ignore it.
There's also a different appreciation to the opportunities that are presented, and I feel like those who come from other black nations sees more of the opportunity, more of that same opportunity that is afforded to the American black.
See, now we're associating your success and your work ethic with your race, and it has nothing to do with your bloodline. It has everything to do with where you come from. And the Africans had to work because that's what they were there. Let me ask you a question. We know about how the Democrats started Planned Parenthood and tried to put them in black neighborhoods
Yep.
to get rid of black people.
What?
Right?
To keep the population down and all that bullshit.
So
Population
let me ask y'all this question: why black people? Of all the communities you could have put this shit in, right?
Because they were seeing
Why
it.
did the establishment choose black people?
You think it's a
Because
power
they were
thing?
see-
Because they were racist from
but
the
see-
beginning.
Well, no. It went even further than that with racism. They thought that black people, mulattoes, and people of certain religions,
Were less
but mostly
than?
black, were less than. And actually, they believed they were doing because she was a firm believer in eugenics. Same thing that Hitler was into. Where if you eliminate those people from the race, you're actually purifying the race.
I have a point here.
I don't think anybody
so-
here would question the validity of racism and the systemic racism that does exist.
So my point is, going into that, since you know that Planned Parenthood was specifically targeted to black people the same way liquor stores now are.
Well, not only
KFCs.
black, because even in Puerto Rico they did stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah, they did that
But
shit.
I'm talking about here in America, like
Okay.
mainland America. Like, but you're right. They target certain, but it's not
they
where
felt
it's
were
not where
inferior.
it's not where the rich Puerto Ricans are. It's not where the mansions are, where all of that shit is. It's just like they don't have. You don't see bums in Monroe. They wouldn't stand for bums with homeless signs, but they in Newburgh. You know what I'm saying? It's a different standard. So when you have a whole system, when you have Planned Parenthood that was designed specifically to eliminate black babies in the 60s, which was not that long ago, at some point, when did the system change where they wasn't trying to kill us no more? Where the system was not built to, again, eliminate black life. And so if it was trying to eliminate black life then, you telling me in 50 years they all of a sudden woke up and was like, yeah, let's stop doing this now? So when you tell me a black victimization, black people are this way and they're not like gone as, yeah, because black people have gone through things that no other country has gone, another race of people in their own country has gone through, like a lot of other people, but
that shit it doesn't exist to the same degree in Jamaica.
You
know what?
I've been told that from
right.
Jamaicans
Even
that
in
are like,
this
yo,
own
you come
country,
here
it
and
don't exist.
racism gets thrown at you.
Even
that you come here with love in your heart and you learn to hate. That's
Yes.
that's literally.
Yeah.
I had
Right.
this conversation the other day as a
So
matter
when
of fact.
you have a system specifically built on people who really, I don't like you so much that I want to make sure you don't have offspring. At what point do you think are you going to stop looking over your shoulder like these motherfuckers ain't got it out for me?
No, but that's the thing. No one's disagreeing with you that exists. That's
Right.
But it's the approach that we're saying exists that could be handled differently, right? That's the victim mentality. Like I said, where you're not seeing no hope, where it's just the
Right.
It's
society
by design, though, is my point.
Right.
But no hope
But-
is
no,
giving
but-
into
but seeing that you
exactly
have
what
no
they
way
want.
out,
I'm saying-
and
what-
that's
that
not
keeps
true.
you down.
Right. What I'm saying is, for example,
It's harder, yes.
Yeah, right,
It's
right.
harder,
It is-
absolutely, but it exists.
what I'm saying is, not you specifically, but a black person might be like, yo, I can't be as wealthy as that person, or be as rich as that other person,
I
or start
have
my
a
own
rich
business
dad,
and
no,
stuff
not
like
white.
that, because the system is working
against
against me. Because I live in this fucked up neighborhood, because my people are suffering and stuff like that. So it's just like, but you can be just as wealthy as that person. You can be just as rich as the other one. You just, I'm
gotta
not
work harder.
I'm not disagreeing that you have to put in more time. I'm not disagreeing that because I know that.
You're already at a
I
disadvantage.
know.
Yeah, we
right,
all know that. We all
I know
that.
you're at a disadvantage. Well, I know that I'm going through that shit. But don't tell me that you can't.
Yeah.
But it's because you can.
Yeah.
Put the work in. Yes, you gotta. So the fuck
And
what?
you, and no,
man?
no,
You're-
and
you're
even if
right.
you put the work in, you have to put even more.
You're-
work.
And
y'all are
isn't
right.
that
You
isn't
got
that
to
why
put more.
affirmative action was created and all these kind of
Affirmative,
stuff?
affirmative action, believe it or not, benefits white women more than it benefits any other race. Look up the numbers. It makes sure that women, it was made for women. In the guise of helping minorities. It's usually white women that benefit from affirmative action hires more than anybody else. So I guess affirmative action is cool, I guess. And you know what I'm saying? It's a nice token of appreciation, but again, if you feel like you have a whole system, even if it's not true, even if there are ways out, you do have to work harder. Like, yeah, you can do it, but it's the
It's
unfairness
discouraging.
of
It's
it.
discouraging.
Why do I have to work
It's
harder? kind of
discouraging.
thing?
Right, it beats you
It's
down.
discouraging.
It's discouraging. It beats you down because it's by design.
I
And you know
Life
what?
beats
And
you
now, but
down,
here's
No,
the thing.
but
You
I'm
know,
talking
guess-
about in this country specifically on the news. You see, I'm afraid of my own people. That is by design. I have been showed images of black people that terrified me. So if I see those types of people that I see on them TV shows, I, a black man that look like them, am also afraid of them. That's how this works.
I mean, I get that.
I think one of the things that bothers me a lot about this conversation, and I think often people try to have this conversation. Actually, I think the one group of people that actively avoids the conversation is probably white people.
Oh, ain't no problem.
But all right, so. But one of the things that annoys me every time I've had it, especially when I have it with someone who thinks similarly to you, there's always a yeah, but.
right.
We can. I honestly feel like we could name a plethora of social services and opportunities that are available, right? And it will always be a yeah, but to it, right?
You have no leadership. We was just talking about this before.
but and
They kill your leadership. You have nobody. You have to, just like you had to be
all
taught
right,
to
but
pee.
again, you just did it. You just did it again. For me, you just did it again.
Yes.
They kill your leadership.
No, you just need leadership in general. A Puerto Rican person needs leadership. Everybody needs leadership.
But your words were they kill your leadership.
Because they have.
They have, but this
And now
this
there's
is
none.
this is where I say the mentality comes. They have, so that because they have, for you it's established. This is a perpetual, habitual, continual cycle that has no end. There's no hope.
No one.
That's
no
how.
hope,
That's
right.
how. For me, listening. That's how it. That
Oh,
comes.
yeah,
That's
hell,
how it
there ain't
comes.
no hope for black people in this country, man.
You see what? So that.
But that's
that,
a fact.
that's-
Not
there
a,
is
that's
hope.
Not a, that's not
Right.
A, no,
There is hope.
there's hope. It depends on what your definition of hope and success and where you see the achievement.
I think.
My ideal of black people succeeding in hope
NEGUS.
is literally equal footing with white people. I'm talking about everybody see us the same.
Right.
And if you think that will ever happen, you're bugging. It's just it won't.
I personally do think that's possible. I just don't think that people
anything
are
is possible.
I don't think people are willing to put the work.
Let me tell you why I will.
Because
Let me tell
I
you
don't
why
think
I
people are
will.
willing to put the work. That's my main thing. It's work. It is
Kings and
fucking
queens,
work
not
like
poor
any
I don't think
relationship.
it's work to treat
Nas, I
people
can.
equally and
No, no,
fair.
no,
I don't
no.
think that's
No.
effort.
It is
Yo,
because
let me
it's
tell
on
you-
both sides.
No, here's the-
and if you have this mentality that
me ask you-
person automatically
It's on both sides. Let me ask you a question. I know I'm talking a lot and I keep cutting you off, but I apologize. If you think that the roles were reversed and black people were the majority in this country, after going what they've been through, and now one day they're the majority and they have the same authority as white people, do you think black people would treat white people the same way?
Yup.
Yeah.
Nope.
The roles.
No, they won't.
I'm
No,
telling
no,
I'm
no,
telling
no,
you
no, no.
personally.
No.
Because that's not how black people are. We
No,
are the
no,
most
no, no, no.
churchiest, forgiving. We have been forgiven, turning the other cheek the whole time.
I-
That we-
I
that's
think
your
I
group.
think the
do
opposite.
believe-
No,
I've heard.
No, there's
I've
a
heard-
rule. There's a rule that the oppressor becomes the oppressed, and the oppressed becomes the oppressor.
And you know what? At every opportunity that I've seen for a black person, I shouldn't say every. A lot of opportunities that I've seen for a black person to screw over a white guy, he jumps right on it. So all of a sudden,
You
you're
seen
gonna
it
tell- you're
personally,
gonna-
or you seen it
true.
on the news? Because you're
No,
showing-
I've
Very
seen it
true.
personally.
Very
I've
true.
seen it personally
I've
when,
seen
when
the
the
opposite.
opportunities for a black person to screw
company
over
keep,
a
though.
white person come, that they've taken it. So miss me with this
I've
nonsense
seen
that,
all-
that,
wait.
that the black community isn't gonna
But to be
do
fair,
this
I've seen
exact
all
opposite.
races screw over all races.
I
I've
agree.
seen white,
And that's-
so that's like a no.
Yeah,
and
but-
no.
I'm,
And
I'm
that's
not,
where-
I'm not
to get
disagreeing
to.
with you.
So
I'm
that's
not,
kinda-
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying miss me with all the black community.
No, I
won't
just don't
do this
know what
if
I'm
you were the
saying. No,
minority.
I'm
We don't-
saying
we don't
I'm
know.
talking
I
about
think that's-
systemic oppression and racism. Do you think black people would do the same thing to white people?
What you're trying to say is, you think black people? Do we think that black people will hang white people?
Right.
Put
March
the-
through cities.
Put them in the kitchen,
All the-
out in the back, picking.
I think what
Not
Fabian
even
said,
that.
not all.
Picking
No.
the hemp
Not
off
even
the
that.
back.
Deny
And
them jobs,
it-
or
no.
no. I don't because I don't see black
I don't-
people doing that
No,
now.
no, I don't-
You have
I don't
ignorant
see
young
that
people
either.
doing that. I don't see grown black people walking around doing that to white people. That's just not how black people are. There's a misconception of how this is my
I
point.
I agree with that.
Over
I do agree with
historically,
that.
we have been portrayed a certain way, and that's
do
not
agree with
how
that.
black people are.
Well, and,
Yeah, I
I,
do-
and
I
I
agree
agree with
with
that.
Why isn't that same mentality given afforded to white people?
That's actually the
why
majority.
why isn't that same mentality afforded to white people?
It is most of the time. I just told you if the shoe was on the other foot, it wouldn't be the same circumstance.
What I'm saying is that amongst the black community, white people have been perpetrated as the devil.
I mean, they
Right.
ain't
Yeah.
super friends.
Period.
No,
There-
but
there
they've been.
Understand
they've
there's a
been-
history there.
There are
I
groups
don't
that definitely say
again,
that.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't disagree with the racism. I don't disagree with the history. I'm not questioning that.
to Ocho.
What
Ocha, that's
what
right.
I'm trying to say
Eastern
is
term.
though that how you're saying that there is a preconception to black people. The same thing exists on the other side
If
of
yeah,
it.
and if the people that had those ideals and beliefs were to be the ones that got into power,
I don't think I think there's a large group of black people who don't give white people an opportunity. So it's a constant clash.
That's also
it's
true.
it's a constant clash. So
I don't think so.
They'll always look at him with a side eye. They're always
black people.
holding
this is the
a grudge.
crazy part. How can you say there's a large number of black people that don't give white people the opportunity when all we have is the option to give white people the opportunity?
Bro,
when you vote,
I've seen
that's all
situations.
you have.
I've seen
I mean,
situations where the white community, what people in the white community will reach out to the black community is like, oh, now they're giving us a handout. So it's a problem.
I mean, I think that's human ego. I don't think that's a race thing. I think that's pride. That's just. I think another white person, anybody would feel a kind of way if that's what bothers you. So you can attribute something like that to race, but that's not a race thing.
But it gets presented as a race thing though.
Because you're looking at their race.
No, it's being presented. The person that's having the problem is looking at their race. Now the white person wants to come in and help us out. Oh, now they want to give us a handout, right? So then the white person goes, I'm just trying to fucking help. Yeah, so now it creates a stigma in their eyes. Yeah. It's a constant back and forth.
It's a healing. This country needs healing. And
you're right.
Everybody's afraid to talk about race in this country, but guess what? You'll never, listen to me clearly, Alpha 5 audience, you are never going to fix race relations in this country until you start talking about it.
Yo, just give out hugs.
No.
Shit. That's some real
Talk
shit,
about
though.
slavery.
It is true.
Talk about systemic racism. Talk about economic equality. Talk about the prison industrial complex. Talk about black people laziness. Talk about white people meanness. Talk about all of this shit because it needs to be talked about. It's a huge wound in this country that everybody wants to ignore.
Sometimes it's just about listening to somebody else's story.
You
know what I mean? Listen to the shit that person has gone through, the experiences they've had.
We need to have a reconciliation. The U.S. government needs to come out and formally apologize. They did some little bullshit apology, but they never really formally apologized. It needs to be a reconciliation. White people need to stop saying that they don't see race. Stop coming with me with that bullshit. You see it, I see it. Let's talk about it. There are differences. It's okay because that's what it makes America great. Our differences.
I guarantee you that there's people listening to us, right?
Yeah.
And the way that we're saying white people, black people, so on and so forth. Like it's funny. Like obviously you're black. Mm-hmm. Jonah associates as black. Mm-hmm. I don't associate as black.
Mm-hmm. I don't associate, bro. I'm black.
Right.
My
nigga.
There's no association, bro.
It's an association.
Yeah, you black.
I'm not associating. I'm black, my nigga.
Okay, why are you black?
Because it's in my
ancestors
genes.
come from Africa. What do you mean?
So do mine. That
Okay.
doesn't mean I don't consider myself black. Nigga.
I'm black, bro. I got Jesus hair, knotted and all that.
What?
Whether you accept it or not.
I got my
whether you
skin
identify or not.
Black.
All right, so it's about identifying and associating with a certain
Are you
thing.
one of them alphabet people?
No.
You identify some shit that you really, you know what I'm saying?
I'm the S in the alphabet, if anything. That's about it.
Super gay.
I'm
fucking with you. I'm fucking with you, my nigga.
Nah, but like, Fabian, are you black? You consider yourself black? Do you check black on the fucking questionnaire?
You know what? I was always taught that I was until I did the ancestry shit, and I found out I have like 10% from there, but the majority is from Native American or European lineage, Spain and mixed in with the Indians. So,
okay, so
I really can't identify with anything that the majority is there.
So the answer is no.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Ray, are you black?
I did the DNA too. I'm a little bit more higher percentage than Fabian, but my skin color says otherwise.
Skin color don't matter.
Yeah.
No, it does. And it's funny. Ray would get completely different opportunities than us.
Uh-huh. But
he's
blacker than Fabian.
But he's blacker than Fabian. It's funny.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how quickly that association is made. You can go to DR, right? And there's white-skinned, blue-eyed Dominicans running around.
That's
Puerto
Dominican.
Rico, too.
You know, there was no such thing as white people until, they got here. Like, they were just, French or Italian or,
European.
No, you just were your countryman.
Well,
you were an American. You weren't, but it wasn't until here.
Because they became a concoction of the different European.
You had to find a way because the poor people, right?
What?
The problem is you can't
disagree with the melting pot?
Listen, you can't have poor people all galvanizing against the establishment because that presents a problem for the establishment. So to separate the poor people and put them at odds with each other, you have to separate them by something else. Since their income was the same, it had to be color. So the blacks were a little lower. The poor whites were a little bit better than the blacks. So they got treated a little bit better by the elites. And so that's how being black was like, oh, but we all broke.
Right.
We
all broke now.
No, but again, it goes back to my point. Rich people convince poor people to be mad at other poor people. That's what's happening. That's why you hate socialism. That's why you don't like food stamps. I'm serious. Rich people that make trillions of dollars a year, government officials. You don't think so?
You said,
they have convinced you that poor people are also your enemy. That people coming from other countries to make a living for their family is also your enemy. Call it what you will.
I understand what you're saying, and I will agree that there's influence there for some. Personally, not for me.
Nope.
Like, I don't like welfare because of the establishment that it creates, the environment that it creates amongst the people.
I know the history of it.
Right?
And that's
I appreciate it as an assistance program. I don't appreciate it as a lifestyle that some people treat it as.
That's the same thing with
you know,
Planned
you
Parenthood.
know what I'm saying? Like, there's differences there, but I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah,
I'm sure that you're right to some degree for some people. Whatever.
Yeah.
But what you said before about the fucking conversation needs to be had. You know, fucking talk about it. It'll be okay.
But a lot of
it's because there's a lot of hurt. That's why.
But there's also a lot of political correctness. So even the people that feel like they would want to talk about it, they wouldn't talk about it because white folks are very afraid to talk about it.
I have such a good idea. I hope y'all down with this.
Even if it might be biased, they might not necessarily be racist, but they have some sort of stereotype because of what they've been portrayed, just like he's been portrayed in the media and movies and shit like that. So they're gonna feel a certain way.
Why don't we have a massive country debate or throughout the country, right, between white people and black people, and have Latin people moderate? And motherfuckers in the middle. Tell me that's not a genius idea.
So
y'all niggas be the one because y'all the only intermediates, I guess. Even though I feel like y'all lean more towards the one side, but that's my feeling. It's all right. It's like 60-40, but at least y'all will listen.
Is he considered Latin then too?
Nigga, he said he wasn't black, so you ain't white.
No, I'm talking about Jonah.
No, Jonah's one of us. He's us in the racial draft.
He's just a Spanish-speaking one.
He said we drafted him.
The rule is
he's gonna interpret.
The rule is if you claim black, you're black because nobody wants to be that. If you want to be black, you
hold
can
on.
be
What's
black.
up with homegirl from the NAACP?
Nigga, Leo black.
Yes, that's why I'm
black.
letting her in because what white person chooses that shit?
A lot of them.
That's my point. You want
nowadays.
It's not. I'm not talking about just the fashion and the glamour. Like she wanted to be. She wanted the fucking racism. She wanted all of that. You want to be down so bad you could be down with us because there's not a lot of people.
So culture appropriation is good.
Can I ask a question? At what percentage? At what percentage within the DNA is it that you need to be to consider yourself?
I mean,
because
I feel like
technically we're all black. If you really go through human history. However,
I feel like you 51%. That makes you black.
51%.
That would be the
Jonah,
logical
you
thought process.
51%.
Oh, you never did that ancestry.
I haven't done my ancestry.
I'm pretty sure you're 51%.
But I'm not going
ain't
to.
51%.
I just understand that the first slaves settled in the Dominican Republic, the whole island, Haiti. Forget the half.
Right.
The whole island. The first slaves settled there. I am Dominican. Therefore, I am a black man.
Thank you.
Don't go say that too
that's
much.
the logic.
And I say that to every Dominican listening. Everyone. My father is a racist. And I tell his ass every day, you're blacker than shit, bro. Like, why?
So
Because
so
you're
if
mixing
you,
culture and race.
hypothetically, if you did your ancestry, right, and it came up like only 10%, like, would you have an identity crisis?
Me?
Still black.
Yeah.
Well, because
I'm still black, bro.
because technically,
I don't care what that
still
shit
black.
say. I'm still black.
And guess what? We still taking them. You know what I'm saying? So we taking everybody that we can get. Oh, you want to be black, nigga? Come on.
Yeah, I really want to like do something though. We really should do something.
Like,
Have the conversation.
Like a racial summit.
damn, I'm down. I'm down.
Honestly, because you were so on point about how how the conversation needs to happen, and like I wish that we had someone here.
A white is what you're trying to say.
Oh, wait.
I mean, maybe not like that, but yes.
I said it
You saying we need a Brad on here?
No, you're supposed to say
Yeah,
I'm-
man, we need
I
Brad
just
and
wanna say I'm
Chad.
black.
Ralph.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Ralph.
Ralph.
Give me a Logan.
No, but I mean,
Give me a Logan.
see, we keep it.
You know?
We're not racist.
Nah. Give me a Brandon.
Let's keep it going.
It's definitely a white dude. Give me a
Kevin.
Chad.
No,
Nah, Kevin
no,
is ambiguous.
No, Brandon, I think, is more like Hispanic. Brendan is.
What about Brent? It didn't get no whiter than that, right? Brent.
But see, but
I don't know,
if
but
we're gonna
we gotta
have
wrap
that,
this
then we
shit
need
up,
to
bro.
have like fucking Jeremiah
Langston.
and fucking
Right.
what's another one?
Shit,
That's just
Jonathan, right?
Like
It's
Clyde.
Super like white name. Like super like, oh, you're Jonathan.
But then
It depends on how you spell it.
we need to have one.
That's 'cause of sheer
We
religion.
need Shaniqua and Letitia.
We black people is kind of, we wanted to fit in with whites and jobs, so we got normal names. I don't have none
No,
of
I
those in my family.
no,
I
but
don't know, I don't
but
know any
but,
of those.
but those are super. So we gotta find them because if we're gonna have like the cliche white, we need the cliche
right.
black,
Yeah.
and then we need like a Carlos and a Juan,
God damn, we're racist. as
Right?
fuck.
Jose.
we need a Jose,
And a Jose
right?
B.
But then we need
Oh,
we need the ones that overlap, like Jonathan, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's another one? There's a couple that like
Alejandro, nigga, that's one.
No,
That's
that-
Alex. That's the, you do both.
No.
That's like ambiguous.
But-
Alejandro. If
No,
Lady
that-
Gaga put that bitch in the song, that's an American name now, nigga.
no, but I'm saying like it, but it like it doesn't matter.
Might as well
It,
slap a
it
fucking
doesn't
Navy
matter
USA
what
sign on that bitch.
nationality. Like when you say it, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's the same.
Let's do it. Let's organize this. Let's do that, and then we'll have some Spanish people be the moderators when shit start getting heated. We talk about all the pain, and then white people say, "Well, it wasn't us."
We're gonna have
You know
some
what? No, but here's
commentary.
the thing. We have different type of Spanish people, so you might have to have somebody completely.
We'll have a
Like,
Republican,
you have
and
to-
then we'll have
No.
a regular.
No, because you have like Mexicans that feel differently than the way
A
Ricans
Republican and a
do,
Democrat.
in there's certain parts of the country. You know,
On a serious note, though, we should honestly
Tell me.
organize that. Like, the conversation has to start somewhere. So
Yeah, I agree.
but
It-
everybody's
I'm curious if you are still listening and want to participate. Yo, dead ass, reach out at Alpha
Yeah.
5 Podcast,
Let's get you on the
Instagram, Facebook,
Send an email.
TikTok, email at alpha5podcast@gmail.com. Yeah, I mean, I really would like to hear from people.
Let's get you on the show.
And
Or
Yeah.
let's find somebody that's got a perspective. I want to see how white people feel. Let's find a white person that's just like not like but that wants to have the conversation, that are not afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the key.
Let's find.
That's the key.
that's gonna be hard.
Just,
and-
you can,
No,
just
man,
don't,
I don't think so.
just don't. Nah, it's not gonna be hard.
No,
just don't call,
it's not
just
gonna
don't
be
call
hard.
nobody a nigger or nothing like that, and we could have this convo.
It's also about finding the people about it too. Like
It's not
it
that-
works on both sides, bro. It's
Yeah,
not,
you're
it's
right,
not a
you're right.
one-sided situation.
Nah,
Man,
no,
those
you're
is
right.
real crazy stereotypes about black people. I'm just hearing you.
No,
Bro, I've
Like, but
heard
that's
it
not how black
though.
people-
No, but I've seen that on
We
Facebook.
don't want to
and shit,
kill
like-
the white man. We just want to be like looked at like the white
But
man
see,
is looked at.
this goes
It's
goes
kinda
to-
crazy.
This goes
Yeah,
to
but I've
prove-
seen like Muhammad White on Facebook. I mean Muhammad Black on Facebook. Yeah, definitely like yo, it's
This,
pop off.
this goes to
I'm
prove
not-
that
Shit like
it's about the lens that you look through, and the associations that you have. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank, aka PJ, here with John,
Yo.
Fabian,
Hey.
Jonah,
Yo.
and Ray.
Let's talk about it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Remember, we are all alphas at something. Peace.